Hi, so I'm Candy and this is my first video on the channel. Basically, my plan is to do art shares and just tell story times about fun stuff that happens to me. I mostly want to do a lot of convention stuff because I find it a lot of fun to talk about the conventions I've done. But it's just going to kind of go around with whatever I feel like, and sometimes it'll just have some wild, crazy stories. Thank you for watching, and if that interests you, feel free to hit the subscribe button. And just for now, what I'm drawing is my main character in the book I've written, as well as the webcomic I am working on with a friend from the Philippines. If you're interested in the book, I'll have the link in description, and if you're interested in the webcomic, you should subscribe because it'll be coming out soon. It will not be done in this style because I don't hate myself that much. Okay, so anyways, on to the video on my first out-of-town convention. My first out-of-town convention was about a 5-hour drive because in Canada, everything is about a 5-hour drive away. For my first out-of-city convention, it's a little far, but it wasn't too bad. Like, there's much worse we could have done. However, we drove in a Mini Cooper. If you're not a car person, which you might easily not be if you're watching art videos, that is a small car. It wasn't even the 4-door kind of car, it was a 2-door car. And we were full of stuff to sell at the convention. I'm going to show a picture of my booth a little bit later, but I don't just sell prints. I sell candles and mugs, and that stuff takes up a lot of space on top of getting everything ready for the design. So it was not fun, especially since I was the smallest person in the house, and I was stuck in the back with the Tupperware full of stuff on top of me. I have a picture of my view too, and I'll add it into the video now, but I am surprised my legs made it out of there alive. Other than that, it was a pretty nice drive. Like, genuinely, we got some nice scenery. It wasn't too trafficy because we got to take some back roads and we saw the sketchy blueberry stands. There was never anyone at the sketchy blueberry stands, but there was always an axe shop nearby because that's the back roads. It was also pretty fun because as a house, we haven't really done road trips in a while, so it was nice to kind of experience that again. We had homemade sandwiches and we got to play some nice road games, so I don't regret the drive at all, even though my legs burned. When we got to the convention, it was the night before around 9 p.m. So we were late on arriving, but the convention's doors closed at 10 for the setup, so I had enough time. It was pretty cool because of the convention itself is located on a ski resort, and a little bit different from just the regular convention hall vibes. However, the convention hall itself, like the room we were in, was pretty small to be honest, and this, to what I thought, was supposed to be one of the bigger conventions I had. But it was probably the smallest venue I had been at. That didn't discourage me too much because again, I'm still smaller and I just like doing the experience and learning everything. I haven't actually been to this convention as a participant before because it was pretty far, but it's very interesting to see other people, especially because there were a lot of creators from not where I'm from. So they were all part of the different parts of the province, so that was really interesting. And the best thing about the convention was that it did seem to care about its artists a little bit. Now, every convention has its own standards for artists, but from what I've seen, most of the common table spaces are around 6x6, and the table themselves is about 4x6. And these are all in feet because in Canada we use inches and feet and then we use liters and milliliters, so that's fun. But the standard isn't horrible, it's not bad, it's just that's the standard. However, this convention was 8x8 for the space and 8x6 for the table. I know it was only an extra 2 feet, but it felt humongous. It was so nice, there was so much more space. I got to experiment so much more with my booth, and it was probably one of my favorite booth setups for what I had at the time. But it wasn't only the size of the table. Now, if you go to a lot of conventions, a lot of the chairs are always pretty lacky and very plasticky. But these ones were nice. They were like dining room chairs with cushions on the bottom and the back, and it was comfortable. You had that little lumbar support. You could sleep there. They had nice quality tablecloths over top, which conventions don't always provide in general. It was just comfy, and you don't always expect that kind of comfort when you come in as a vendor. You just get used to it, but it was just so nice. You felt so fancy. Anyways, after we got all our stuff sorted out, we headed out to an Airbnb, which we were doing with some people we met at the convention prior. Actually, my roommate met them 2 conventions ago, and that's how we even found out about this convention, because they were people closer to this convention. We ended up meeting a bunch more people from them, and it was a blast. This was very much a party convention, which is interesting. And we got to just walk around a bunch and visit other people. And there was also a little outdoor outlet where you can go to eat, get some shopping done if you wanted to. It was just different and unique experience. And once we met everybody and got our footing down, we went back to the Airbnb and just passed the heck out. And we just drove here in a cramped car, got our table set up, got dinner, we were tired, needed to sleep, and that was that. We passed out for the night. Didn't even hear if there were any parties, we were too tired. In the morning, I got up around 8, and fortunately the convention started, I think it was about 10, so I had time to get ready, and I went to Timmy's and just waited forever. They forgot about my French vanilla. And I was just tired and shy, and it took me forever to get the courage to be like, hey, excuse me too, you forgot about me. It wasn't even for me, I don't like coffee that much. Now obviously this isn't the convention's fault, but like, I feel it in my bones. Eventually I got the coffee, headed back, gave it to my partner, and then headed right back to the convention, which was only a 5-minute walk away, so that was really nice, especially since we were in an Airbnb and not the hotel located with the convention. And at the convention, outside of the room, there was a drink set up, which was nice. There was a bunch of water that you get for free with cups and everything, which I don't always see at conventions, to be honest. I feel like that should just be more common, especially in summer now. I know we're not like Texas or anything, but it gets hot here, especially when you're cosplaying, so it would just be a good idea to have water around, and I'm just happy that they had it. There was also a little Starbucks outside of coffee and tea, but I didn't need a coffee anymore because I already waited forever to get one. That's besides the point. Now, all of this was nice. The problem was actually with the convention itself. As this was a resort and it was neat, you had to pay to get into the room with the shops, like every convention, but that was it. There wasn't anything else to do, at least not convention related. There wasn't really much to do other than that. They didn't have any voice actors, any special guests, there were no panels or anything, it was just the room with the shops. Which is okay, I guess, but you also weren't really trapped in the room with the shops, if that makes sense. But the convention prioritized a lot of its other non-convention related activities because it was a ski resort. It had a lot of other things people can do, like go to the pool or the hot tub or zip lining. There were actually some anime cars outside that cosplayers went to go take pictures of, and those were super cool. But again, it took people out of the convention hall. You didn't even need to pay to get to the anime cars. It was just for anyone wandering around. You didn't really need to even come to the convention. You could just come to the resort and hang out with your cosplaying buddies. And apparently at the past conventions, they did used to have discounts so you could get the pass to get into the convention hall, and it would give you the pass to do some of the activities. So at least you bought the pass for a reason, not just to shop. But they just weren't doing that this year. So a lot of people just showed up, did the activities without going into the convention hall, and that was that. It didn't really help the artists or the vendors, or I feel like it probably didn't help the convention either if people weren't paying to get in there. I'm not sure. They did have this cool cosplay contest. However, instead of doing it kind of like a regular masquerade or like a show, they were just picking people that they liked that were cosplaying out in the open. And they got a little statue. It was a really cute statue. But there was no time limit for anything. There was no reason to really show up at any time. Now, with all that said, the first day wasn't horrible. There were some people that still wanted to come just for the convention. And it was pretty steady, people coming over or people just buying, which was really nice too. So I wasn't bored too often, except around the end. Actually, way before the end. The con went about 10 to 8, which is a little long in my opinion. And about 4, there was nobody there. It was just super dead because everyone went out to go eat or do other stuff. People were done shopping. After around 2 hours, when it hit 6 o'clock, I packed up and left, just like a lot of other people, because I wanted to go enjoy other non-con activities too, and go party. Now, I don't really recommend closing up early, because sometimes you can get blacklisted by cons, but everyone was doing it, and there wasn't really much staff around. So I feel like no one was going to get in trouble, and I didn't hear anything, so it should probably be fine. And it was dead. All of it was dead. Everything was boring. I was tired. Now, I was risking people stealing from me, but I did take most of my valuable stuff back. It was just mostly my prints, because I didn't want to have to pin them back up again. And if for some reason someone stole my prints, then I guess they can just have them. Like, if you have to steal prints from a small artist at a convention, then fine, you can have them, I guess. I don't know what put you in this position to steal a $5 print from me, but okay, good luck. However, it didn't seem like anything got stolen the next day, so that's good at least. Now, after the con, I didn't get to go to the pool because I was just too tired, but I did party for a little bit. It's not really my scene, but it was fun just walking around, meeting even more new people, then not meeting them probably ever again, but you know, that's just how it is. There was one interesting story where one girl kept biting people, but consensually, of course. She actually bit my roommate, and he had a scar for a few weeks from it. He took the first bite and was like, "Oh, that kind of hurts." So she went, "Oh, that's not as hard as I normally go." And see, you know, out of spite, he had to get a harder bite, and then he had the scar. For context, she was also dressed as Rainbow Dash with Heelys on as she was biting people. Cosplayers are wild, and I give them full respect. Anyways, after that, the second day rolls around, and I get up early again and go get my coffee and tea, and this time it's an okay wait. But the second day was so slow, oh my goodness. I guess whoever wanted to go to the convention went Saturday, and that was that. Now, obviously Sundays are gonna be a little slower, everyone knows that, but it was so dead. I made a few of those fun sales where you're just like, oh, I wanted to buy this yesterday, but I couldn't make a decision till today, so I decided to buy it. Which is like, yay, that's cool. But it was so boring other than that. Those few sales, and I was so tired. I tried to nap under the table. The tablecloth reached all the way to the bottom, but my partner and roommate would not let me nap under the table, which was horribly unfortunate. And then around 2 o'clock, it was just dead. There was nobody. The only people still looking around were other vendors. And you can make sales from other vendors, but eventually they stopped looking too. So around 4 o'clock, we decided we were just done. We had a 5-hour drive home, so we wanted to head back now and just pack up. There were a few other people that packed up pretty early too, which was good, because otherwise I'd feel super embarrassed being about it myself. But we were just done for the day and at least had some fun. I do have a little side story, because we went with my roommate who I mentioned before, and he was planning on catching a flight to Florida in a few days to go meet with some of his online friends. And if he caught a plane closer to where we were at the moment, then it was a lot cheaper than catching a plane from where we lived. So we decided to just go drop him off at the city nearby to help him out a little bit. We went to Walmart, got some McDonald's, got some McFlurries, you know, all the important stuff you gotta do after a convention. And then we get out and we go to the car and we start like unpacking everything so that he gets some of his stuff out. And, you know, being the parents of the house apparently, I go, "Do you have your passport?" And then there's a long silence that is followed by a few swear words that I can't say on this channel. But long story short, he forgot his passport 4 hours away from the house. So we start packing his stuff back into the cramped car, and we're starting to get ready to drive home with him figuring out how he's going to get back here to catch his flight in 2 days, when his buddy texts him asking if he needs help with a ride coming back and just will need help with anything. And my roommate is like, maybe you could help? And I don't know what happened, but that buddy agreed to drive his passport all the way to him the next day. And because my roommate already agreed to do some Airbnb with some of the people we were with before, and he already spent the money, didn't really want to lose out on that too, so he stayed, and the buddy was going to drive to Toronto by himself to go drop off his passport, then drive back. That is absolutely not something I would have done for him, I'm going to be completely honest. And I live with the guy. So my roommate absolutely owes that buddy his life, probably. But all in all with the con, it wasn't horrible for sales. I made even, which isn't too bad, because I was able to keep the cost of like accommodations down by Airbnb with a bunch of people. And fortunately, it was only $80 for the table, which is a pretty good price, but it was just a lot. I feel like I probably won't do that convention again, and not as an artist at least. They could maybe change some stuff or even change venues, and I might consider it again because it's in a good spot. It's just when you're prioritizing everything outside the convention, it doesn't help with the convention. It's just with the travel and the small car, as well as just paying for everything, it wasn't very worth it. But it was fun. I genuinely had a lot of fun, and I met a lot of people that I have on Instagram, so I don't regret the experience whatsoever. But it just wasn't what I wanted, and that's okay. It didn't have to be. But yeah, I was thinking just doing vlogs like this, talking about conventions I've done, would be pretty fun and helpful for anyone else that's interested in getting into it, or also just interested in hearing a beginner talk about it, because that's absolutely what I am. I think for the next vlog, I'm going to do the first convention I ever did, which was pretty flawed in both because of me and because of what it was in general. But that's it for now. Thank you all for watching, and remember to click that subscribe button. Thank you, and bye.